what are the implications about what they've told us are important? And how long have I got?
10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. So for me, the implications relate to what you were saying earlier, Michal. It's that idea of the focus on the being rather than the becoming, which is in the process of receiving an education. And some of it also, interestingly, connects to what we heard earlier about the idea of a capability approach as well as a lens of citizenship for thinking about what education could usefully deliver. And so I want to come back to the idea of parental citizenship. I talked about how children enact citizenship. In the classroom, they tidy up. They're creating a space which is good for other people, as well as for themselves. They might look after the friend who's experiencing bullying and do individualised actions of care. They might work really hard to progress their own future and achieve some of those capabilities that we're talking about. When we're thinking about what good citizenship should mean for parents, we can use those same criteria. So we might ask, what ideas of actions and acts of citizenship might be being asked of parents in order that they model good citizenship to their child so that their child achieves well in school. And we've heard a lot of what's being asked of them is very much that sort of neoliberal idea of citizenship, that they support the individual goals and aims of their child, rather than a broader sense of social citizenship in which there's contribution to social goods for all. And I'm suggesting this might be a useful lens also for thinking about what's asked of parenting, in the extent that it supports well-being within educational settings. But I also think that ideas of citizenship are two-way. It's not just about what it is that citizens contribute, it's about what the polities contribute to their citizens. And so the other way in which it's useful is for thinking about, well, what then should state parties or resource holders do to support the achievement of the outcomes that children themselves want. And because of some of the discussions we've had here about this kind of global trends around some of the things that are remarkably similar in different countries, it's made me already start to think about, well, the importance of not looking at the level of nation anymore as the sole unit by which we are looking for comparisons in practice. It remains useful because a lot of resources are channeled through nation. But it's incredibly important to be looking at other ideas of what a polity or a relevant collectivity might be. Yeah? And some of those relevant collectivities are businesses. Because they, anyway, I'm starting to take too much time because I want a lot of time for discussion. So I'll move straight to the conclusions. We should be engaging in public debate with children, and they can define their own sense of well-being. If we're going to use that word at all, personally I don't particularly see the use of it. But it's a way of engaging in dominant policy discussions, and that means working in partnership with them, not making children responsible for the achievement of their goals, but also not denying them the opportunity to exercise decision making in relation to resources. To do that, they need information in the space. And they can effectively, and they have, there are examples of this across Europe, young people being involved in setting policy in Cyprus in relation to violence and then designing programs around sex and relationship education that happen at national level and monitoring the application of the budget in relation to that. And if we start thinking about that being part of what participation can mean and this being a way in which children learn rather than a way in which children are schooled, we might get closer to an idea of the kind of sustainable future with a greater sense of equality, which is what they're asking for and what many of them are protesting for at this very moment.